What up, guys? Welcome back to Across All Arenas. We're your hosts, Ryne and Andre. And man, we got a great show for you today. We were hanging out this past weekend watching the Royal Rumble. And then after the Royal Rumble, man, Luka Dončić is traded to the Lakers for Anthony Davis going to the Mavericks. Wow. That is, man, the NBA, they were stirring the pot and they had their little on fire too going on this past weekend. That is a huge trade. Almost kind of really unbelievable trade because I don't think it's been a while since, or if we ever have seen, a superstar and another superstar getting traded.
Yeah.
I think, another trade of years ago when the Chris Paul was trying to go to the Lakers and they stopped that. And nowadays in the NBA, they don't care, man.
Like NBA 2K franchise mode.
And the way that this trade even happened, no one even believed it.
No.
A lot of people thought, which was originally reported by Shams on his X account, people thought he got hacked. And then no, he went on there and he explained what happened. And so the official trade was a 3-team trade. Lakers get Dončić with Max Kleber and Markieff Morris. Mavericks are getting Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round draft pick from the Lakers. And then the Jazz get a few people too. And the funny thing is, Danny Ainge, he didn't even know that he was helping the Lakers get Luka. So
Danny Ainge is one of us. You never knew the Jazz app.
He had no idea. So with this trade, like, who wins this trade? Who will benefit in this move? What are your thoughts?
As a Lakers fan, I'm very mixed. I know how good he is as a basketball player. We've seen him play in Dallas for the last, I think he was there for 7 years. He's scoring like 25 plus points a game. He just went to the finals last year. I guarantee he's a global superstar. He can be very well. He can very well be the next face of the NBA when LeBron eventually retires.
He's definitely going to be the face of the Lakers. Usually once LeBron leaves. So I mean, you definitely have the Lakers made this move because they see the future in him, which in many cases is definitely the right move, especially if you want to have a superstar that will be the face of your franchise in the coming years.
Yeah, no, for sure. But the other side of that is, you lose your best defensive player in Anthony Davis. And at first I was like, it shouldn't have been him. It should have been him. But I understand. It kind of reminds me of when Kelsey Plum just got traded to LA for Drew Lloyd. It shouldn't have been her, but I understand the trade. I understand, why this happened, and the fact that both teams, both the Mavericks and the Lakers, were able to keep this on the wraps for something this big.
Very big, yeah.
The trade itself is big, but the way it was handled, I think more on the Mavericks side, it should have, Nico Harrison, the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks, he didn't even tell Luka about the trade. He didn't even.
Well, no one knew about the trade. It says Ron, AD. Yeah, everybody was in the store.
AD. And you say Braun would know. But so I watched the presser today for when they introduced Luka to the Lakers.
Yeah.
And Rob, I remember cutting up something for, when I was at work today, I remember cutting up a soundbite, and Rob Pelinka, the general manager of the Lakers, he says something like, this type of trade is so complicated and intricate that it only had to be between the owners and the GMs. That's how tight this was. I think Rob said it took 3 weeks for all of this to materialize. 3 whole weeks, and we never knew. We never
Weeks
knew.
not saying a word
That's a
about
lot of
one of the biggest trades.
yeah, that's a lot of commitment. But I, you know, I I think in the short term, I think in the short term, Dallas, I think wins because they're in a win. This tells me that Dallas is in a win now situation. They traded a superstar to get they traded a superstar to get another superstar back, and they feel like Anthony Davis is that missing piece. Missing is you already have Kyrie Irving, you have Klay Thompson, you have PJ Washington, you have him at the 3, then you have, Gafford at the 4 or 5, and he's,
So
Lively. So I s and AD doesn't even have to play that much like he did with the Lakers. And from the Lakers side, they traded him because he was too injury prone.
injury
And
prone.
and from the Mavericks side, they, if they thought Luka just didn't really want to improve on his conditioning and his durability.
So there are reports that Jason Kidd frequently expressed concerns publicly and directly about Doncic's weight, his conditioning, the weight fluctuations, and constant arguing with officials. So you know, are we saying that Luca can be a handful sometimes, maybe even a little drama queen when he doesn't get his way. But if you take away all that stuff, it's this man can play ball,
Yeah.
and the biggest factor too is he is still in his prime.
Yes.
So like you mentioned, he is going to be the future of the Lakers franchise once LeBron is gone. And so whether they make a run for the finals this year, um, they will definitely have something to move forward. So that brings me up to this question. Will they make a run? We know that the Mavericks did what they did because they do believe that they are one player away, which happens they think that it's going to be AD. What about the Lakers? Do they feel that they can make a run right now with Luka and the other players that they've received?
I don't think from when I watched the presser, I don't think
That's not the answer I wanna hear, man, because I just put a 14-1 ticket on the Lakers to win the NBA Finals.
from what I heard from the presser, I don't think that wasn't the forefront
It's
of
not the motive.
it wasn't the motive. The motive was just to get the deal done, and they got the deal done. So
Yeah,
where do you go from here? So someone asked that. It's like, okay, well, what's the immediate future look like now that you got Doncic? You know, what's the urgency? What's the sense of urgency right now? And Rob said something like, "Oh, there's every day feels like an urgent time to win the championship or whatever." Like general manager answer, he said. But I, I, so right now they are fifth in the Western Conference, so they have a playoff spot. Um,
and they just have to stay there.
they just have to stay there. Now, the thing is, Lucas still has his injury. He still has a calf strain. Rob said he'll still be day to day. How much or how, like, whatever the percentage is that he's recovered from that, I don't know. Um, but I think they're gonna really take their time with him. I don't see the reason why they have to rush him. Um, you might rush him a little bit because now you don't have defense. Now you just lost AD, your best defensive player. I mean, they still have other big men. They just got, like you said, they got Max Kleber, Markieff Morris. They also have Jackson Hayes, who also is in that rotation. Um, but I think for the time being, they're just going to play small ball.
Yeah.
So like offensively, this team should excel. And I think they're gonna start winning games offensively, just because there's no defense.
It also it also brings the fact that, when uh Luka was on the Mavericks, he was very ball dominant. Yeah, so always taking the shots, always doing, whatever he can. And he goes into the situation with the Lakers where he doesn't have to do that because he has one of the greatest players of all time in LeBron James. Even though he's 40 something years old, he can still take that load. I think it helps them both out offensively. And like you said, like I don't think the offense is going to be the issue. It's
It's gonna be
what is your defense going to look like? So those are all great points. And you can also say the same thing about injury wise in AD. Like they play tonight. Uh, when we recorded this on a Tuesday, w- um, he's not playing tonight. So the Mavericks also have to worry about AD's injury woes as well. When it comes to right now, the Mavericks probably did win that trade, but as in the future, the Lakers definitely won. And let's just put to rest that, uh, because I've been seeing that. Why did Mark Cuban make this trade? He did make this trade. Do your damn research. He does not have majority ownership of the Mavericks anymore.
no.
He's in the thing. He's on the Shark Tank. He made a big business decision to sell the team. He does own the land of where the Mavericks is, so they're basically paying him for the lease now. But as far as basketball operations decisions, he doesn't make that anymore. So no, he did not trade away Luka
No.
to the Lakers. So let's just put that to
I
rest.
saw I saw something about Chandler Parsons. I guess FanDuel has a dedicated basketball show now, FanDuel
Yeah.
TV. So Chandler Parsons is like part of that crew, and he said he texted Mark Cuban, and he's like, I'm confused. Why did this trade happen?" And Mark Cuban was like, "I don't know. I'm just as confused as you."
What a crazy few days for the NBA because man, they needed a splash the with them having to share uh Christmas now with the NFL.
Yeah.
They got killed with the ratings and with NFL now coming to a close this Sunday, it's the NBA show now,
Yeah.
right? So we'll see what happens. But I'm excited for the NBA playoffs. I mean, when football is going on right now, or when it's going on, it gets overshadowed, right? The NBA, people don't really start caring about the NBA until like now. So it's gonna be interesting, man. So we're gonna take a break, and after this, we'll start talking about some WWE, man. Some wrestling. All right, we're back now. We're about to talk about some wrestling. Man, WWE Royal Rumble. What were your thoughts right away?
I thought the way they ordered the wrestlers to come out and the men's Royal Rumble, I think was strategically like I think it's like strategized
Yeah.
because he threw in all these other storylines in there, like Drew McIntyre, and then you know, and then Damian Priest is in the ring, the Usos, and Roman Reigns, and everybody that he felt betrayed him.
Did you notice with John Cena coming in at number 23 and him being the GOAT? I mean,
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty. Yeah,
that was pretty strategic.
And well, no, and then you mentioned that, and I was like, you know, I didn't even think about that. But
No,
that was cool. And then
whoever thought of that was genius. You know what I mean?
give him a pay raise.
Give that man a pay raise because that was very thought of. But yeah, the Royal Rumble, I thought it was very entertaining.
The women's Royal, I think what was cool about the women's Royal Rumble was they featured more of their NXT superstars in their women's division, because and that women's division is stacked.
Yeah.
You got Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade came back. You have a young superstar in Jada Parker who's climbing up the ranks. You got Kalani Jordan. You know, there's all these women, you know, in that division that got featured in the Royal Rumble. And Roxanne Perez, you know, lasted. I have it here. She lasted like an hour and like 7 minutes. It was like the longest time in Royal Rumble history. And for that to be an NXT star, I think that means a lot, not only to that brand, but it also shows it also tells us that WWE really believes in that brand.
Oh, for sure.
Because that's supposed to be like the
Well,
baby cow.
that's their future, you know, and
Yeah,
a lot of
those
those
are all the stars. So like that it was just really cool to see like NXT superstars to be on there and all that. And also Jordan Grace, I didn't even know. She signed a WWE contract before the Rumble. So coming in from TNA to WWE, that TNA relationship is starting to pay off. I mean, you already got one in Jordan Grace, and then Joe Hendry, you know,
Joe Hendry
on Deuce.
believe in Joe Hendrick. No, I thought the women's Royal Rumble was pretty good too. You know, there was some. I think the biggest surprise was Nikki Bella
Nikki Bella.
coming
Yeah.
back to make an entrance. So don't know if that was just a one off or if she is going to return
I've read some things that they were in talks.
in
That's
talks.
why she came back, but I don't like I said, I'm not sure.
Gotcha.
I know Alexa Bliss when she came back, they were like I don't know if you saw like on the little like the snipe graphic that they had that they were selling Alexa Bliss merch saying that she was back.
Well, she's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what her storyline is, if she joins the Wyatt Six. Obviously, the biggest return was, uh, Charlotte Flair.
We
And
projected her to win.
we projected her to win, and that's exactly what happened. So, you know, moving forward to her winning and going to Raw, I it was kind of weird because I told you when we were texting, we weren't sure what her return was gonna be, whether she was gonna be a heel or she was gonna be a baby face.
Yep.
And I think we got that little feeling of like when Rock came back and he was gonna fight Roman for the championship, and then Cody Rhodes, and fans wanted him to finish the story. So I think we kinda got that a little bit with Charlotte Flair, where we maybe think that she's gonna be a babyface, but then when she started talking, or even when she came into the ring, she was getting kind of booed a little bit. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be very interesting to see what they do with her storyline.
I'm not surprised that they like I'm not surprised that the fans did what they did.
Yeah.
She's coming off a 2-year injury, and then she comes back and it's like, "Oh, you're just gonna give her the win?"
Yeah.
So, but I mean, like we said in the last episode, she's gonna come back. This is like her comeback journey, right? Coming back from injury, she's gonna want revenge on probably Rhea Ripley. So, I mean, she just showed up in NXT to face or to, you know, throw out that little jab to Julia to for the NXT Women's Championship. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, we still have Friday Night SmackDown.
The men's Royal Rumble. I mean, what can we say? As we mentioned, the placement of every person that went into the Rumble, it was very thought of being placed. As far as the match, I mean, it was very entertaining.
Yeah. No, I mean, that whole just from start to finish, like, the start is gonna be slow, like, every Rumble is gonna be like, on both sides, the women's and the men's, it was slow, but then you start seeing all the main eventers and, all the mid cards coming up. Um, yeah, I there was a really cool spot where Braun Breaker speared Roman Reigns. That's a nice, like, little moment.
Yeah, it was.
The one thing I do wanna bring up is, and because we were just talking about this, I think yesterday, or you texted me, I didn't respond because I crashed out.
Why were you responding? Just ignoring me?
I crashed out. I crashed out. So you texted me, if they weren't gonna bring The Rock to WrestleMania this year, which I think that's where they're going, because what we saw was Punk, Reigns, and Rollins got eliminated practically at the same time.
And they had a moment in the ring, where they were kinda, all 3 of them were having a little
Right.
standoff. It's so in my mind, right away, yeah, I think that's where they're going, and then there was a report, um, recently saying that the the plan is for the 3 of them to have
Triple threat.
a triple threat. Now, I know there's a lot of, um, people that are like, "Why? What's the reasoning?" And my thought in my head is, yeah, I at this point, I don't think maybe Rock. I did see another report saying that Rock will most likely make an appearance. He'll have something with WrestleMania this year, but won't be like fully like implemented how he was last year. So I think this is them trying to change the story. But again, we live in this WWE universe that always changes. So we don't know. Like John Cena, he's filming a movie now in Hungary, but he says he's coming back for the
Brother the Nation.
elimination chamber. So what makes us think that that might change? But it seems like that is going to happen. So I think the moral of the story is that things can change rapidly. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, maybe the 3 of them have like, well, first of all 3 of them have beef, right? They all have a very with a long-standing storyline,
Sure.
and there can be so many things that can make that match even crazier, right? You have uh CM Punk and Roman Reigns in this favor that Paul
Yeah.
Heyman has.
I was just about to bring that up. I was like,
Yeah,
what is this? What is this
so
favor?
we don't know what that is. So that kind of makes
Dirt sheets say. What are the dirt sheets?
yeah.
So listen, the real moral of the story is do not believe the dirt sheets. Because because like you said, we don't know what the Rock's gonna do. Yeah, I don't know if he's like you said, the report, saying that he's gonna make an appearance of some kind or whatever. But I mean, if you go back 2 years, almost 2 years ago, Punk made a return. The dirt sheets never picked it up.
Yeah.
So
They kept that
you know,
very
there's
quiet. So
WWE has gotten better with being quiet at what they want to be
yeah,
silent on. Like the CM Punk one was very quiet.
with this Royal Rumble win with Jey Uso winning,
Paper, so
I think everybody was thinking once it got down to the 3 people, and by the way, we got one of them, right?
oh my god. Can we I'm gonna let you finish, but we gotta talk about that because
Yeah, we'll talk about that. So, we predicted the last 3 would be John Cena, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and it ended up being John Cena, Jey Uso, and Logan Paul, of all people. That's why. But we were almost there, and of course, the eventual winner is Jey Uso, where it almost looked like John Cena was gonna do it.
I liked how they played that out.
I liked how they played it too. They made it very suspenseful, especially when they were on the apron outside of the ring, and they're just going, blow for blow. And
Sure.
and you could just like that's wrestling at its finest where they're making it so dramatic because 'cause they're, like, slowly punching each other and then going back and forth, and it looks like someone's gonna fall. Then John Cena gets Jey Uso on his back for probably an AA onto the ground, but Jey Uso was able to counter, get back into the ring, and then a big shove to,
Yeah.
win the Royal Rumble and, very well deserved, man. I mean, Jey Uso, like he said in his promo on Monday night, no one believed in him as far as a symbols competitor. He was always with his brother. They're really pushing that main event, Jey Uso, which is good because that's what you want to do in in the WWE universe. You always want to see the underdog, right? I mentioned to you that this is the same story, similar story to like a Daniel Bryan, where he's the underdog. He'll never beat the authority.
Yeah.
And look, he got his WrestleMania moment, or even
Kofi Kingston.
Kofi Kingston. You
Kofi
know,
Mania.
he made they made well Daniel Bryan had a little bit longer uh title run, but as far as Kofi, he may not have had a long title run, but that's the cool thing about the uh the wrestling world and the pure entertainment value. You always want to root for those underdogs that you never think they're going to win the championship, but then they do. So I think that's the
Yeah.
reason why a lot of people also believed in that Cody Rhodes finished the story. It was organic too, so that's why it
Sure.
felt so good to see. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
But I don't think also too Jay had I don't think he had that same push that Cody did. Because I think, like you said, there were so many storylines being thrown at one event. You had so many people that had storylines with each other. And then you had John, who's like, oh, is this farewell tour? Like, he's going to win it. And then you had Jey Uso, was like, why is he still there? He shouldn't be in that position. And like, I went on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I went on there. I see some people, they're like, why did he win? And blah, blah, blah. Like, he doesn't deserve this or whatever. I'm like, no, like, because when it, the aftermath of when it happened, you came up to me after, he had won. You came up to me and you were like, I have an epiphany. What are you talking about? He's like, they're really pushing Jay, like the main event part of Jey Uso to have his rematch against Gunther. Because I think it was that Raw before the Royal Rumble. He said, I really believe I can beat Gunther or something like that.
well,
That I
yeah,
really think I could do it.
it's funny that you bring that story up because prior to Saturday night main event, uh, Gunter and Jey Uso have they had a
And then the
competition in the
rematch.
ring, and I think it was that Raw before he was basically belittling Jey Uso like you are not on my level.
He's
So obviously he did lose that match, but they were already starting that story, right? And it was a storyline that, no one really kinda thought of it, uh,
yeah,
but that's the part where I love about the writing because it's so unpredictable. I don't want the story to be too predictable.
yeah,
I wanna still have a little excitement and surprise,
yeah.
you
Because
know.
that's what this product is built off of.
Yeah.
Was excitement, was surprises. And now people, when they don't get something that they want, they're just gonna complain.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, dude, like I get it, like the dynamic changes. Like there's always gonna be dynamic shifts in wherever you're at. And or I should say, but um, but you have to understand that the foundation that this company was built off on was the surprises. Because
Sure.
in the Attitude Era was like when Stone Cold had that, like, his biggest pop, right? when he came back. I don't know what event that was, but when he came back and he was taking out like Vince McMahon and and Triple H and DX.
Yeah,
Um, but it's just stuff like that. We're like, that's why I haven't watched the product until recently because it just got old, and there was no reason to watch it anymore because they
yeah,
were just
for
so
sure.
decorative.
That PG era, with John Cena always being, and that's one of the reasons why John Cena got a lot of, I guess, hate, towards that, like, mid, like, 2010 through, like, 2018, uh, because his story kinda got old, right? And people were
Yeah,
booing him, uh, doing a "John Cena sucks,
yeah,
John Cena sucks," like, it you have to do right by the fans because that this business is fan driven.
yeah,
So I get that you don't always have to give what the fans would want all the time, but you have to also make the story like the story makes sense. Jay Uso's story makes more sense now uh to win the Royal Rumble, to make him the it man, to have his story, because WrestleMania is about that moment, that WrestleMania moment, and it's going to be very hard for me to believe that Jey Uso doesn't walk out of here in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium not a world champion that weekend. I mean, there's no telling me that that's not going to happen because they are building it so perfect for him to go over, like way over with the championship belt. So, I think it's we'll see what also happens with, Rock, Roman, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, because in the next and John Cena, they're building up to those stories now. So I think
2 months.
we just gotta
Figure it out.
yeah, we just gotta enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride.
Royal Rumble was a lot to take in, and it was great watching it. The entertainment value was great. So we're gonna go ahead and take a break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We are finally here. It is Super Bowl weekend. We recapping. We have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles, and we are seeing that the Chiefs are still minus 1.5 favored, and the total is 48.5 at FanDuel, and I think DraftKings is also the same too. Certain books out here in Las Vegas is, I think, like Caesars is still -1, is -1,
Like
and
-1. And the total did drop to 49. I
oh,
think they split it at 50.5.
okay. So as far as the line movement, not too much.
No,
We
I didn't expect there to be a big line
for
movement.
sure
So you just gotta pick your poison, I guess.
pick your poison. I think as what the sports book are thinking is that they're trying to just even the money out, right? Because you don't ever want it to be fully on one team and then lose and then everybody wins. It's got to be a fair balance. But because it is the Super Bowl, everyone's going to be parlaying, everyone's going to be doing prop bets. So I think it's everyone has to just figure out what's going to happen. And one thing that I've noticed, I do believe that I think I saw today that one of the biggest prop bets that is being bet right now is Saquon Barkley's rushing yards, and rightfully so. Last 2 weeks ago in the NFC, he only had about 80 something yards. So it went under. And so when the lines opened up for Saquon's rushing yards, it was like 114, 115. Maybe
Yeah,
it
it's
was
something
like
like that.
116 and a half. It's actually down now. It's down to 112.
Yeah, Josh Jeans has it at 111 and a half.
That's a pretty dramatic drop. So if I were to analyze that, I'm thinking a lot of people believe that the Chiefs' defensive line is going to somehow, some way hold Saquon, and they're going to need Jalen Hurts either use his feet or use his arm.
There's been a lot of people betting on Jalen Hurts' passing props too,
Yeah,
because of that, because of Saquon's rushing props dropping. Um, they Jalen Hurts, I think, like even the passing attempts is 27 and a half. So his over under pass attempts is 27 and a half.
okay.
So I don't know what the opening line was for that, but the over on 27 and a half is favored slightly, but it's favored. Minus 127 at DraftKings.
Man, and if we dig deeper into this um matchup, I mentioned this to you. So Vic Fangio, who is the defensive coordinator for the Eagles, he is a staggering 0-7 against Mahomes. So that's pretty crazy. So last year, Vic Fangio was with the Dolphins as their DC, and they played the Chiefs and the Dolphins met in the AFC wild card game, and that was at Arrowhead in Kansas City, and it was a cold game too.
Yeah.
And that
He's like one of the coldest games in.
yeah, one of the coldest games. I think like people were opening beer cans, and as they opened it,
Yeah, here was like
free
phone, like
crazy. So that game ended up being 26-7 Chiefs.
yeah.
So I think Vic Fangio has some work to do. What can he do different to finally beat?
Dude, it's so hard because it's like you you know what they're gonna do. They're either gonna run the ball with Kareem Hunt, they're gonna run short passes with either Kelsey or
Xavier Worthy.
you know what they're gonna do. It's how they scheme it up. It's how Andy Reid, Matt Nagy drop the offense.
Yeah.
And I mean, also on the defensive side too, but just on the offensive side, it's like you don't know, and Patrick's so good on his feet too. So he doesn't hold the ball as long as Jalen Hurts does in the pocket. Uh, Mahomes is usually good at like seeing pressure. You know, his the way he sees the game is it's immaculate. It's it's something that, like Tom Brady was like, we always make the comparison between Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, right? So, it's kind of like the Kobe and LeBron of football,
Mm-hmm.
right? Everybody always compares Kobe and LeBron, and now we have Patrick and Tom. What what Tom couldn't do was just move his feet. But
Yeah.
what they both could do was read the defense. And I think that's what's going to give Patrick the advantage in this game because he can easily audible and adjust his O line, his receivers, his running backs. He can make those adjustments on the fly because he's just that good. I mean, he's won 2 Super Bowls. He's won 2 straight Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And he's won 3 in total. Patrick Mahomes makes everybody better.
Better. And we said this last week that he is like Michael Jordan. He makes everyone better, to your point. Kelsey is better The wide receivers are better. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is looking great, and Juju Smith, it's crazy. And, you look at all these other stats, like the white jerseys. 16 of the last 20 Super Bowl winners wore white jerseys, right? I mean, even stats can't even stop Mahomes. Last year, the Chiefs saw the 49ers, and the 49ers thought they can get ahead of it and say, we're going to wear white jerseys this year. And then look, they didn't win.
We don't have to talk about this, man.
I know it's a sore subject, but just making points here. And then also, you brought up Tom Brady. I think if there is any kryptonite, there are two types of kryptonite for Patrick Mahomes. One of them is Joe Burrow, and another person named Tom Brady. Like you said, he's the only one that's beat him in a Super Bowl, and he's the only one that's ever beat him in a AFC playoff, another playoff game, and that was the AFC Championship, to be exact. And I brought this up to you a few weeks ago, that the last 3 Super Bowls have been won by no more or no less than like 4 points.
Yep.
So, with that being said, is this going to be a blowout this year? I know that these teams both kind of match up evenly. We do say that the Eagles are the better team, but we also said the same thing last 2 years ago.
Oh, same, man. That's what I'm saying. That's why I keep saying the same thing every year. Every year, the 49ers were favored. They were the better team. Well, at least on paper, they were the better team because their D-line was supposed to beat up the Chiefs O-line. Listen, I'm going to keep reiterating this until the Super Bowl ends, because the Chiefs are going to win. I don't care if you think I'm wrong. I don't care if you think that's absurd. The Chiefs are going to win
For sure.
if they made it back to the Super Bowl, which they did. But when the playoffs were started, if the Chiefs were to win the AFC, they're going to win. I even told you this even before the playoffs started.
Yeah.
And whoever comes out the AFC was going to be the NFC team.
For sure. Because I feel like if the Bills had made it into the Super Bowl, I feel that they would beat whoever was coming out of the NFC.
Because the AFC is just that much better. They're stronger. They have stronger teams. They have stronger players.
For sure. It's going to be interesting. We mentioned that we just think that the Chiefs are destined to get that third Super Bowl and make history, and until it doesn't happen, then we can just say we were wrong.
Yeah. No, that's the worst thing that can happen is that, we were wrong. I'm still betting on the Chiefs.
I'm still betting on the Chiefs, yeah. What's going to make the difference is what quarterback, what player on the offense side, and the defense side, who's going to make that touchdown that's going to matter, who's going to make their pick six, that interception, whatever the case may be, who's going to be the big difference to take their team, on top. So, I mean, I think that's our last thoughts on the Super Bowl. Let's talk about some of these novelty bets.
Yeah, man. Show some love to Kendrick Lamar over here.
Halftime show is Kendrick Lamar.
Featuring SZA.
Let's look at the first song that he's going to possibly perform.
So the first song to be performed.
So the number one, or the one that is favored, is Humble, plus 115. Not sure if these are accurate or not, but it is definitely the number one song right now. And then the second favored is Not Like Us.
The first song may not even be listed on here.
What do you think?
I think the first song is going to be Mad City.
God,
You know,
that's Keith Howard said. I just wanted to hear that. Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, when the beat drops, like that beat is sick.
because you mentioned earlier, he performed 2 years ago, or not two. He performed in
3 years
in
ago.
LA, the LA Super Bowl,
Yeah.
where the Rams and the Bengals were playing, and when it came to his turn, because there was a multitude of artists in the LA area, right, except for Eminem and 50 Cent. Um, the first song that Kendrick performed with when it was his turn was Mad City.
Mad City. So
I know me that like to be Mad City still be played first.
if I had to guess, I definitely think Humble will probably be played. That's one of his biggest hits. I'm sure he's definitely gonna do Not Like Us. Not Like Us might probably be the last song. If I was creating the set, if I was Kendrick Lamar, I would probably leave that last.
Well, Not Like Us is minus 160.
Yeah.
Last song performed.
Oh, okay. So
To be the last one performed it is minus 160. No.
I would say that would be it. My first song would probably be one of his newer songs, TV Off. Just because it's
Yes. Yeah.
it's like a big band sound and it just kind of fits the mood. So that would be my guess. And then he might do a lot of his new stuff, like Squabble Up is a good song.
Love.
And by the way, his new album, fire. Shout out to Mustard, man. Mustard's been growing the.
Shout out Mustard. He may come out with something unreleased. God knows what he's gonna come out with. Like,
Might be a new Drake diss.
you listen, you might as well. Shoot, you already cleaned out Grammys. You won 5. If he was nominated, like obviously GNX didn't make the cut for album of the year because it was past the deadline. But
Is this the first time ever where someone wins a Grammy and it's like a diss track? Like, I don't get. In my recent memory, I don't feel that's happened.
yeah, I think this might be the first time. Like Drake has not won a Grammy because I don't think he was even nominated for it. He was diss tracks.
No.
That's how good Not Like Us was. And that's how influential that song was in this generation of hip hop. Like that's such a generational song that it won 5.
I mean, my kids love that song. Man, the Super Bowl is coming.
Yeah, it's coming up
this Sunday, and we'll see what happens. In this halftime show, and then in the game, and well, that's it for us. Man, Andre, there was a lot of stuff that we talked about, but it was fun kicking with you. I'll see you this weekend, and we'll see you guys next week. You guys enjoy the Super Bowl.
Mad City first song before, and plus not no drink.
That's what I want to hear too. We out.